What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the broader markets. I'm going to break down why tomorrow is going to be another important day as we have more data coming out, and why NIO has potential to go higher as we're holding with our key EMAs very nicely. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So when NIO drops to the low $6 area, we like to bounce, but as we hit 6.8, we like to reject, going back and forth between supply and demand. Now, as long as we're above 6.16, we're going to be favoring a push back up towards the 6.3 area. I think we're doing a great job, at least so far, at holding up. So we could be looking for an attempt to push to 6.36 to 6.4 for a temporary bounce move if we try to hold above 6.16. And we could still be range bound for the time being, but there may be a temporary bounce coming within this range. Now, there is some news coming out about the ET9. It's getting a lot of attention for NIO. It's known for being very luxurious and a great competitor with many European counterparts. So that's some awesome news that's come out. On top of this, at least historically, keep in mind that we got a new rating from Freedom Capital Markets. They're now downgrading NIO from a buy to a hold, at least for the time being. On top of this, the price price ratio is kind of flat right here. It was going up quite a bit the last few weeks as NIO was running, but now we're kind of stuck in the middle. So we're just going to be very patient for now. And then on top of this, when it comes to seasonality, keep in mind that Tuesdays are known for being green about 55% of the time. So we're going to most likely see green either on Tuesday or Wednesday, as NIO is historically green during that time, so long as there's no bad news. And then the month of September tends to be decent for NIO. We're actually green 57% of the time. But for EVs as a whole, October tends to be weaker, and that November to December period tends to be stronger. So we'll see how that ends up going for us. But keep all these levels in mind and this data. Now, NIO is increasing its partnerships with more EV insurance companies out there, at least so far. And this is some good news because this helps them to focus on the different deals out there when it comes to the use of insurance policy, understanding like underwritings and such. I think it's very important for them. And this is another very good piece of news because it could really benefit them when it comes to improving their sales and what they can offer customers. So that being said, we're still range bound for NIO. We're trying to bounce a bit, and we could try to push a bit higher with the markets. But I would warn you to be careful. For the American markets, tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. It's the last minor data day. Tuesday, September 9th is going to be tomorrow. We just have our business optimism index report in the morning. Then at 10 a.m., we have non-farm payrolls. There's going to be a revision for it. So expect some volatility at 10 a.m. Sometimes when data comes out, we do see some volatility. Then we have some very minor data coming out involving our Fed. So that's pretty much it for tomorrow. Nothing way too serious. On top of this, I want to add on that right now there's about a 100% chance we get some kind of cut after the bad jobs numbers that came out. So we're going to wait for FOMC, and I think that's right now the market's in a critical place. When it comes to earnings, tomorrow we have Oracle and a few more. Nothing else is too serious for now. So what do we see for NIO? As long as NIO does not end up losing essentially this 6.16 and 6.02 area, there is a chance we consolidate and eventually try to push back up towards 6.4, at least heading into tomorrow. And if that breaks, we could be going back up to the highs around 6.7. So 6.4 to 6.7 could be coming. Then we'll see if we reject off that resistance or not. But there is some upside potential, at least nonetheless, to be pushing back up to 6.4. When it comes to other tickers such as like SPY, we're looking a little bit more bullish. We're actually trying to make higher lows. And we could attempt to go a little higher. We're pretty much just consolidating between 647.5 and essentially 650. We could retest 650 and try to go a little higher, but then I do want to warn you guys to be careful because the closer we get to all-time highs, the more likely we are to get some kind of rejection, so be careful with that. The triple Q is also holding up nicely. We do have some tough resistance near 580. If we hold above 580, we're looking for 582, but if we can't hold 578, we're looking for a dip back down. So watch 578 and some consolidation here, then we'll see if we turn back down towards like 575. So be very careful once we hit that resistance. For the IWM, we're making higher lows here. I think we're doing a good job at holding up, and we're going to be favoring essentially 240 as our targets. If we lose 236, we're going to be turning back down, but as of right now, we're making higher lows. So we're going to be favoring a slow push for 240, at least on the IWM. ES looks a little bit more bullish, could slowly push towards this imbalance. I think we might be retesting the all-time high. Then we're going to see if we get some kind of rejection or not. Expect some consolidation tomorrow, and we'll see if we go a little higher. And then once we get close to the all-time high, we'll see if we turn back down like this. There is a chance that we kind of pump a little bit more and test the all-time high before potentially getting a hard rejection back down. NQ has the same thing going on. We still have this head and shoulders like pattern. We might retest the high, then turn back down towards 2367, 2367.9, at least around that area. Bitcoin could be retesting 112,800. We'll see if we reject. Tesla could be dipping to about 340, and we'll see if we bounce or not, but there is still some downside risk. Tesla showing some weakness, so I do think 343 and 340 is going to be tested. Nvda, it pushed up and only to reject, so it might be returning back down to 166. So be careful with Nvidia as there is some downside risk. Apple, however, is going to be testing 237. We'll see if we bounce or not. Look for a test of 237, and we'll see if buyers defend. It does have some downside potential. AMD needs to hold 150 to bounce to 155. If 150 fails us, we could be dipping more. So watch to see what happens at this low, and we'll see if buyers defend. Coinbase is also looking kind of weak here. It could be dipping back down towards the low 300s. If not as low as like 297, we'll see if we bounce. Amazon could also be dipping back down towards 233. If not, this gap fill around 232, and we'll see if we bounce or not. Meta could also be dipping back down towards 745, and we'll see if buyers defend. Google could also be dipping back down towards 228.96, and we'll see if there are buyers to defend or not. And finally, Microsoft's on a bit of a downtrend. We got a rejection here. We need to get back above 502 to really rebound. If not, we're looking for a move back down to 495. And we'll see if buyers defend, but there might be some downside risk. Finally, the VIX is on a bit of a downtrend. We're making lower highs so far, so this does still favor downside, which could be another confluence for more upside for the broader markets. So that's a decent sign. And then for NIO, I think we're holding up very nicely. We're trying to hold above our 20 EMA at 6.16. As long as this holds, we're going to be favoring a move back up to about 6.3 to 6.4, and we'll see what happens after that. Anyways, that's it for this video. I want to make this one kind of short for now. I'll be back tomorrow with another update, but be ready for some data at 10 a.m. for tomorrow. And the market might try to go a little bit higher before potentially getting a rejection if we do retest the all-time high. So be very careful. NIO might try to bounce here. It does look a bit more bullish, favoring 6.4 than the 6.6. So we'll see how it goes from there. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for listening. One more thing about NIO. Sometime later on during this month, we might have NIO Day scheduled. So that could be a very, very big catalyst so far. And thus far, we're doing a good job at holding up. So I do see a lot of potential, at least for NIO, especially as we start to see a lot more buyers stepping in. So I think we're holding up very nicely. There are a lot of buyers who are present, and there is a lot more upside potential given what we're seeing, at least with the share price. So I still remain very, very optimistic and happy about how we're holding up. So that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a very, very awesome rest of your guys' day, nights, or evenings. And I'll be back tomorrow, after the market closes to give you guys another update about how things are looking. Keep in mind, we have lots of inflationary data coming out from like Wednesday through Friday, but tomorrow is going to be the last more quiet data day until we see a lot more significant pieces of news. With that being said, thank you for listening and peace out.